Hello guys. Sorry, I was just setting up my iPad so I could see comments. So hopefully you guys are all doing well on this Tuesday. Alright. There we go. Alright. I got comments up, which is great. Just gonna switch this over here. There we go. All right. So I thought this Tuesday we are doing embossing folders. So I picked up these two really cool Tim Holtz embossing folders, and these are actually thicker than normal ones. But I got a wood grain one and this, I think it's called Arched something. I'd have to double check the name on it. But I instantly fell in love with this because it kind of reminded me of stained glass, and then like the arches in sort of a church and stuff like that. So I thought that would be kind of fun to play with. And then obviously I really like wood grain, so anything with wood grain, and I'm pretty much sold on it. Okay, so I'm gonna give everyone, sorry, I was reading comments. I'm gonna give everyone a couple of minutes to pop on. So I'm just gonna cut a couple pieces of cardstock. Whew. I had the heater going on in the apartment. Now it's like a sauna in here. So I'm just cutting some black and some white. And I'm just cutting them in sort of like an A2 front card size. Okay. To pull this out. Okay. Ooh. Alright, so let's talk about what I've done here. So we got this cool product in, they're aluminum sheets. You get 10 in a pack, and I think there's 2 or 3 different colors. Should have checked that first, but what's cool about these is not only is it like, so this one here is silver, it's also got an adhesive back. Like the whole thing is adhesive. So you don't even have to think about when you're using it, because you don't have to worry about it sticking. So it basically comes in a 6x6 sheet, so you can cut it down to whatever size you need. And what's cool is it will take the embossing folders and take the emboss part. Sorry, I'm losing my brain here today. So this one here, I ran it through, I cut it down to fit the size of the embossing folder. And so what I did is I basically just threw it in there, pushed it through, and this is what it came out as. What's cool is if you have like a gesso or a paint, you can put the paint on it and then wipe it off, and then it'll sort of give you like a rust effect. If you also had waxes, that would work. I tried a couple of other things. The only thing that worked, yeah, was the alcohol inks. So I tried using Distress inks on here, it didn't work, didn't hold the color. So I also tried alcohol inks, and what I did is I literally just popped a couple of colors of brown from my Tim Holtz onto this silver, and I wiped it with a paper towel, and this is the effect it gave. So this is the wood grain one. Why does it look cut? Anyways, so you'll notice on the back, on the white, you can see the wood grain. I don't know if you guys can see that there. And then on the front, I gave it sort of like a tarnished brown. I think I used sepia and rosewood to get that sort of kind of cool background. I just basically rubbed it in. So I thought what I would do is I would show you on this one that I have already done what basically I did. And if you guys do have any questions, just throw it in the comments, because as I am doing this, I am reading those. Actually, you know what? Let me run another one through. I'm going to run through, you know what? Let's do another one of these, because I really love this one. So basically, you can kind of put it wherever you want. Now I put the adhesive side down on the bottom, so the part that's going to come up through is the metal part. Now I'm using my Big Shot. I'm only using 2 platforms because this is rather thick. So one of the cut plates and the big thick one. And I'm just going to run that through. Now what's also nice about this is you're going to have a little leftover. So you can do extra stuff with it, or you can run it through the other side if you want. I like saving it for other little things, so for like accent pieces and stuff like that. The only thing I haven't tried is embossing powders on it, which I think would be really cool. So I've run it through my machine, and sorry guys, it's stunning. Like honestly, this video will not do it justice. Oh, I love it. Okay, so basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a few of the little alcohol inks, and I'm going to show you how easy this is to color on these metallic sheets. So I grabbed my fun colors. Okay, so they have a bunch of different alcohol inks. So you have your regular alcohol inks, but we also got these really cool ones in. Let me just see. There they are. So I've got alcohol ink with glitter accents, and I've got pearls. So I thought I would show you guys those because honestly they are so spectacular. I got other colors, hold on. I'm telling you to hold on, but I know you guys have to wait for me anyway. Alright, so I also got some blues because I thought they were really pretty. So this one has cobalt, it's the glitter accents, and then this one is a pearl and it's baby blue. Now, I had also pre-done one so you guys could see. Oh blue, where art thou blue? Apparently I can only find the green ones. It's around here somewhere. I'll do because it's like right here in front of my face. Oh, Lordy help me sometimes. Okay, so this one here, I have used the glitter accents and the pearls. So you can kind of get some of the glitter in there, but I'm going to show you on the silver effect. So this is on the regular Yupo paper. But let me show you on here because this, to me, it's stunning. So you have, as I mentioned, your regular alcohol inks. Then we have the pearl and the glitter. So I'm going to show you this. I'm going to grab some paper towel. The end of the roll. We're going to get messy tonight. Okay, so you can run this through with the Yupo paper too and have fun doing it, which I'm going to show you guys after. But I wanted to show you how these look on the silver. So I'm going to use the corner piece here. And I'm just going to show you really quickly. Whoop. So this is just the plain one. Actually, maybe I'm going to... And I'm just going to swipe across. And then I'm going to show you guys... Actually, let's do all blues. Alright, so you got to make sure you shake these puppies up because it's going to have some residue at the bottom. So I'm going to just do that off camera. Kind of sound like... Okay, and it's also a push down and twist lid. Sort of like kids' medication. Alright, so there is the pearl. I just love the glitter. Like, it's so pretty. I'm just gonna let that run down because I don't want to wipe too much off of it because of the glitter. So you can also, and I tried this and it does work, it just takes a little finessing with these portions that pop up. You can have it fill in the areas, and I would leave it overnight to dry. So for example, I've now put alcohol ink in, it's pooling almost. So it looks really neat, and then I would let that sit overnight to dry. But this is a really easy way to color something really quickly if you wanted it all one color. So I'm just going to take some more of the blue. And I've added some really quick and easy color onto here. Now I still would let it sit overnight so that the color stays, but how cool is that? So if you have a card that you sort of wanted it, even though it's silver, but you wanted that metallic look, but you wanted a different color, you could very easily do that. I think it looks really pretty. And that is what I did with this one with the two browns. So I kind of played a little bit with it to give it that sort of a wood look, which I love, to be honest, guys. It's stunning, isn't it? I bet you all love it too. All right, so let me show you what I did with a pre-made background using the alcohol inks. Okay, so I'm just gonna move this out of the, I'll have to put it on my table. I want it to dry, so. Okay, so I had pre-made a background like this, and then what I did is I ran it through. Now, I had a couple of other ones here. All right. Yeah, isn't the wood one stunning? So I made this really pretty background, and I thought it was really kind of fun because, again, too, it sort of looks like stained glass colors. So let me run this. I'm going to run this through my embossing folder. So the part that sticks up, I want to come up through the image so that it pops up. But we're going to do one the other way too. So popped up like this. I'm going to close this, and I'm going to run it through. I want to show you two really cool techniques with the foils too, with the alcohol inks, because this is fun. So I'm going to do same thing, but I'm going to flip it down, and I'm going to run that through. So two vastly different looks. So this here, you have the negative space having been popped up, and this you have the lines popped up. So let me show you. So this one I had run through earlier, and then what I had done is I had these like nail files. Old school, guys, pulling out the old school. And then what I did is I just sanded some of the raised bits to give it that look, so it does look sort of like the glass is peeking through. Now you can also do it with what we've just done. So I'm going to do it in one of the corners. Actually, I'll do it on the red side so you guys can hopefully see. And basically all I'm doing is I'm just taking a little bit off the top, and again I usually have like a baby wipe that I can just kind of wipe the dust off. But you'll notice, see, now I can see some of the poking through of the embossing folder, which is really fun. Sorry guys, it's going to take a minute for it to stop singing. And then the same thing you can do with this, but now it's going to have sort of a different look. And I really like this with the alcohol inks too, because you can also play with all the different alcohol inks that we have. But I'll show you how you can add just a little bit more using the foils. Okay, so I love this. I think it's so much fun, especially with the inked backgrounds. So now you will see some of this is poking through. This is where something like the Decofoil glue comes in super handy. So I really like this, and I think I'm gonna go with gold. I have some Decofoil here. So what I would do, so there's obviously two ways we can do this. We can talk about both of the ways we've done image here. Let me just make sure this is. I had cleaned it out, but I guess it doesn't wanna. Okay. There we go. You guys all know my pain when these things get a little, even just slightly clogged. Okay. Okay. So if we wanted to add a little, it's still gonna be a pain in the patooties. We're gonna go old school. Come on. Sorry, guys. Oh, goodness me. Come on. Clean this, of course. Ah ha ha. Now I'm all sticky. Yes, it's definitely messy, but fun. Aha, there we go. Okay. Now, let's try you again. I like the tiny little. There we go. Okay. So if we wanted to add just a little bit of oomph to where we've have our embossing through the alcohol ink on this Yubu paper. So I'm just adding a few little accents with the glue to my embossing. I'm just going to set that to dry a little. Now if I also wanted to add it sort of here just a little bit. Now remember, this is the negative part, right? So what we've done is we're going to add a little bit more interest, I guess. Actually, you know what? Let me run this through on the block too. So I'm just going to run through the black cardstock with the same. I think this one would be really great for anyone who has a communion or Easter, because it does really look like a church glass. So if you wanted to jazz up a plain piece of paper, you can do the same thing. So, just gonna set that to the side, and I'm literally gonna take the same thing. Oh, you're gonna be a pain again. There we go. And the nice thing about this glue too is it has that sort of iridescent look. So you definitely can't miss when it's ready to pop on. Okay. So now imagine having done this whole piece with the glue and sort of letting it dry just a little bit. See, you can see sort of the blue iridescence. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop out my Decofoil. And just a reminder, people, if you got the hot machine, this is not the foil you guys want to be using, the hot machine. Oh my gosh, I lost them. The heat activated foil. Sorry, I was having a brain fart there for a second. All right, so like anything I do, I'm only going to cut off a little piece. because you can reuse the same piece with this technique. And I'm going to tighten you back up. Here we go. Back in here. Always put it away when you're using it because you don't want it to stick or to lose anything. All right. Sorry. We're also taking a little bit longer so I can let it dry. Okay, so this one looks good, and so does the other one so far. So basically all you're going to do is you're going to lay that foil on top of where we put the glue. So where we put on our image coming out. So we still have some slightly wet pieces. And then that picks up the image there. I don't know if you guys can see that all too well. There. Yes, you could definitely do that. No, I think this other one's good too. So this would pick up the highlights, and then this would pick up the other. And again, I use the same piece over until there's nothing left, especially if it's a solid color. So this is going to add some more interest into the sort of the negative space. And it gives you sort of a grunge look if you ask me. It's kind of cool. Well, not kind of, it is cool. There we go. And you can keep going back and adding more glue so you can get exactly the areas you want. So I thought that was kind of cool. Now, the black is still, I was going to say healing, but y'all know what I mean. So when I'm doing these backgrounds, I always do the inked portions first, let them dry, and then run them through the embossing folder. So I do have one more green one here that I had done that I wanted to kind of show you guys the same thing with the wood grain, because I think it's really pretty and I thought it would be kind of cool with this sort of greeny gold one. So what's cool about this is it's actually sort of a 3D look. So there's like a couple of knots in the wood that are actually higher, a lot higher. So I want to put that there so you guys can see them. And then I'm going to run this through my big shot. I'm going to be using this wood one a lot for some of the birthday cards I have planned. Okay, so here is the back. So you can see that sort of wood grain look. Now when I flip it over, it's got the look on here. So what I thought was kind of cool, since we've already got some gold and the black is still drying, guys, that's why I haven't done it yet, is again, you can just add a little more interest with sort of sanding it just a little bit. Actually, I would go with the wood grain to sort of bring up some of those edges that are sort of a really cool look. Okay, and then I'm just gonna take my cloth. So that sort of gives it sort of that woody look, which I think is really cool. And it brings up the wood grain a little bit more, which I thought was kind of cool. Now you can also do this with your typical inks and stuff like that to add a little bit more interest, which is kind of cool. Now, I did this one. I'm just trying to think if it's still... It's starting to look dry, at least in some areas. So I'm going to show you this anyway here. So this portion looks dry. So again, we're just going to do the same thing. I'm using literally the same piece. This is just on plain cardstock. So I would probably do this a couple of times. It may take me a little longer than normal, but that just adds a little interest to it. I think it looks stunning, to be quite honest. So I could do all of them like that. all of these sort of arches. So I think that would look really pretty. But sorry, this side, it's still kind of wet. You can see the color difference in the glue between sort of the clear and the not clear. That's when you know it's not dry yet. Yeah. So do you guys have any questions? Yeah, it's kind of fun. I really like this, the alcohol inks. It's such a great way to use pieces and to use sort of those fun geometric embossing folders that, you know, we've all kind of just put aside and we don't use all that much, but this is a great way to add some interest and to sort of give you another difference. And to use the sort of the surface area. So see, I love this. I think it's stunning. Sorry guys, I'm kind of in love with it, I'll be honest. Okay, so on that, sorry, adhesive sheet. So I wanted to show you guys these. So what I had done is I had run it through on that arched surface, or that arched one, and I actually cut them out. Yeah, all you need is a sentiment on some of these. Like, they are super pretty. So what I thought would be kind of cool, and exactly like what Sherry said, like all you need is a sentiment with this. So what you can do is you can have on your card your sentiment and then have this peeking out sort of both ways. So you get this really cool sort of arch coming out of your image or your sentiment. So you put your sentiment there. So I thought that would be kind of cool. So you don't have to leave it in sort of the full piece. You can cut pieces of it. And again, what I like about this too is that it is adhesive back. So you basically just peel this off, which I thought was kind of handy dandy because no one likes to try and figure out how to stick stuff down. Yeah. Do you guys have any questions about sort of kind of what I used, or you're all kind of quiet tonight? At least it's not a Monday, guys. You guys are still so quiet. Let me run through one of the wood ones and I'll show you guys with what kind of paper is a silver. Good question. So it's this here, and it's not actually a paper. It is made by Sizzix, and they're actually made to work with the dies. And it's a full back adhesive sheet. They come in, I want to say at least 3 colors the store has. I picked the silver just because I thought it would be a little bit more fun to play with something that sort of has a neutral background that I could use the alcohol inks with and try different mediums and stuff like that. So I have to pick up some gesso to try the gesso technique, but I thought that was kind of fun to play with the alcohol inks because, again, it's something that I play a lot with myself. Alright, so let me see here. Okay, so I ran the wood one through some white, and I'm just going to grab a neutral color. Ooh, I have here. Okay, and then I'm just going to ink it on this here. And again, you could make the wood whatever color you wanted, which is great. So if you wanted to do like a Valentine's Day card for a guy, you could do it sort of a pink wood. You know, it doesn't have to be brown. This would be cool with sort of a gray look too behind the card. And as you do it, it's gonna pick up the color, but also keep those raised surfaces as long as you guys aren't too crazy with the pressure. Picking up some pink, which I find very odd, or some red speckles. Maybe it's because it was on my paper. So this has a really cool look. Again, I really like this one too. So I'll probably be using these on some cards. But there's some, if you look at sort of from the side angle, you'll see that there are some very big divots in the embossing folder. But I think that's kind of fun, isn't it? Like, yeah. The metal paper is actually very thin. Doesn't give me the actual thickness. But when you peel it apart, I would say it's like thinner than tinfoil, maybe? More like a vellum thickness. Like, it's like super thin. That doesn't really show you guys, but it is very, very thin. When you take the backing off, it's much more thin. Of course. Oh yeah, I pull out all the good stuff, including all the nail files I never use. Buffer ones are really good too because they're square and they're a little easier to handle. But like I had these like super god-awful old ones that didn't really work with my nails, but works perfectly for scrapbooking and lifting. Actually, I wonder if it would work. Kind of takes a little color off. Kind of works with the silver too. Kind of neat. Yeah. Now with something like this, you'd have to be a little careful because you get all the little lines too. But it definitely pulls off some. Actually, I wonder if you see all these good ideas come to you when you're doing it. Yeah. Probably try with some alcohol inks after to color that, but kind of is neat, eh? Janice, they are 6x6. Oh, someone's already got you. Sheets. So I basically just cut these down, and then through the other piece, I just ran through to get some of these extra little ones. So I started with a 6x6 and I cut it down to fit inside of the embossing folder, and then I just used these like pieces, the strips that I cut off, to make the extra little ones. So I could use them on cards as well. Yeah. Alright guys, well if no one else has any questions, that's me tonight. So I thought that was a fun way of just using some products and some extra pieces that you guys have sort of sitting around, or that maybe necessarily you don't pull out a lot of, because again, this would be really fun with some of those geometric shaped ones with some pre-made backgrounds. You can spend a Saturday making a bunch of them, let them sit overnight, and then run them through your embossing folder the next day, and then take them with a nail file. But just make sure if you're going to wear gloves or that you have some paper towels or some baby wipes near you guys to get all those little, like, not floofs, but like all the little bits off. Yeah. Well, I hope you guys can take this away and then you guys can make some fun backgrounds. If you do, definitely post them on the Facebook group, because we do like to see what you guys make with sort of this inspiration. We're going to have another one next Tuesday, so I hope you guys can jump on and visit. And I do really, really hope this gave you guys a couple of ideas. Again, these metal sheets are awesome and they're fun to play with. Yeah, so I hope you guys had fun, and I will see you next month. Bye, guys.